All right, hello everyone. This is My Two Cents, and today I'd like to have a little story time with you. It's a story that you may be familiar with, an old fable written by Aesop himself. Now, I want you all to listen carefully to the story, and afterwards, you let me know what you think the moral of the story is. Okay? That good with y'all? Let's begin. Once upon a time, it was summertime. Ah, summer, the greatest time of year. School is out, the sun is shining, all the summer blockbusters, delicious ice cream, the days at the beach, the beautiful women in bikinis.
Round and round like a horse on a carousel. We go, will I catch up to love? I can never tell. I know, chasing after you is like a fairy tale. But I feel like I'm glued on tight to this carousel.
Well, you get my drift. But this particular summer, there were two busy creatures. They were, of course, the ant and the grasshopper. The grasshopper was having a grand old time. He played all day, jumping and singing, not a care in the world, not a thought for what the future may hold. For the grasshopper, life was all about pleasure and enjoyment. If it didn't feel good right now, the grasshopper wanted nothing to do with it. Life is short, so why not have fun? The ant, on the other hand, had no time for fun. He was hard at work. Day by summer day, the ant diligently got up early in the morning. Each day he had a comprehensive checklist of all the work he needed to do that day. His house needed repairs. He needed to gather food. Winter was coming, and with it a slew of hardships. The ant wasn't worried, however. He knew with a little hard work and preparation he would not only endure these hardships, but thrive. The grasshopper thought the ant was a fool. Why work hard when you can spend all your time having fun? Of course, eventually winter came. The grasshopper was freezing. He had no food to eat and no place to stay. How could this have happened? He asked. I exist. Surely that means I'm entitled to food and comfort. The grasshopper traveled to the ant's home and knocked on the door. The ant, of course, answered. Please, the grasshopper said, shaking from the cold, give me a room to stay in and food to eat. I'll die if I stay out here in the cold. A smile crossed the ant's face. Mr. Grasshopper, he said, I spent all this past summer preparing my home, gathering food, ensuring it was preserved, making smart financial investments, and now, despite the dangers of winter, I'm doing just fine. What did you do this summer? The grasshopper seemed desperate. Please, he said, I I spent the summer playing and having fun. It was wonderful, but now I need your help to survive. The ant chuckled. Mr. Grasshopper, if you spend all your summer playing and not working, you should not expect to spend winter warm and eating. The ant closed his door. And with that, our story comes to an end. The lesson of the story is, wait a minute, the story isn't quite over. After leaving the ant's house, the grasshopper called CNN and asked that he be allowed to appear on TV so that he might gripe about his awful situation. News host Jake Tapper gladly accommodated him, and they spent the better part of an hour talking about how unfair it is that in a wealthy country like America, the ant can live in a nice house with food, while the grasshopper is relegated to freeze and starve in the cold. Over the next few days, hashtag Justice for the Grasshopper begins to trend on Twitter. Every social justice warrior on the planet cries out at the top of their lungs. The only explanation for this atrocity is that the ant exploited the grasshopper in order to achieve his wealth. He better check his ant privilege and start paying his fair share. The next morning, the ant awakes to find a horde of Antifa protesters outside his home. Loud shouts of "Down with ant privilege! Ants are racist! Ants are sexist!" and "Justice for the grasshopper!" fill the air as they storm his front door, beating the ant mercilessly with clubs. The next day, as the bruised and beaten ant attempts to recover, agents from the IRS appear to inform him that the government will be taking more than half of his assets and redistributing them to the grasshopper. This is, after all, only fair. The ant is distraught. But he realizes that if this is the way things are going to be, well, maybe he should take a different course of action next summer. Alas, months go by, and it is once again summer. Isn't that great? This time, as the grasshopper goes out to play, he sees the ant, laying on the beach drinking a beer. "What's going on, Mr. Ant?" he asks. "Well, Mr. Grasshopper," the ant explains, "last winter I learned that if I work hard, all the fruits of my labor will just be taken from me. That being said, I decided why bother? I'll just spend this summer having fun like you." "Wonderful!" the grasshopper exclaims. "Now you're getting it." The ant and the grasshopper both have wonderful summers, filled with fun and not a care in the world. Strangely, however, winter once again comes. The grasshopper, again shivering and starving, goes to the local welfare office to receive his share of the ant's wealth. However, the grasshopper is only informed that since the ant stopped working, there is no longer any wealth to redistribute. He quickly heads to the ant's house to give the ant a piece of his mind, only to find that the ant has already frozen and starved to death. Having no other recourse, the grasshopper dies as well. The end. Now, tell me, boys and girls, what do you think the moral of the story is? Go ahead and leave a comment in the comments section. This is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe. To follow me on Twitter, Minds.com, or VidMe, check out the links in the description.